Hello everyone. Today I want to talk to you about the exterior wall plastering mortars in Guangdong, Hong Kong and Macau, especially the differences between thick layer plastering and thin layer plastering, and by the way, their respective advantages and disadvantages. Let's first talk about the basic concepts of these two types of plastering. Thick layer plastering. As its name suggests, the thickness of the plaster is relatively large, usually around 15 to 20 millimeters. This method is more common in Hong Kong, Macau, China, and coastal areas, especially when the base layer is not smooth. Very useful. Thin layer plastering is relatively thin, about 5 to 10 millimeters thick, and is also called anti-crack mortar. This process has become more and more popular in China in recent years. So what are the advantages of thin layer plastering? First of all, material saving is one of its major advantages, because the plaster layer is thin and less materials are used, so the cost is naturally lower. The construction speed is fast, which is especially suitable for large area walls. It is not only fast but also time-saving. In addition, its anti-crack performance is very good for walls with a flat base. A thin layer of plaster can effectively prevent cracks in the wall due to changes in temperature. However, thin layer plastering also has some disadvantages. It has high requirements on the flatness of the base layer. If the base layer is not flat enough, the construction effect will not be ideal. In addition, its protective capabilities, such as waterproofing and anti-seepage, are slightly weaker than those of thick layer plaster. On the other hand, the lack of strength of the thin layer of plaster becomes a problem when there are decorative elements on the facade. Due to its thin plaster layer and limited strength, it cannot effectively support or fix these decorative parts, which will lead to insufficient stability in subsequent construction. Next, let's talk about the benefits of thick layer plastering. First of all, it has less stringent requirements on the base layer. No matter how uneven the wall is, a thick layer of plastering can be smoothed, which is particularly convenient. It also has very good protective properties, including waterproofing, anti-seepage, and anti-cracking. And because of its thick plaster layer, its thermal insulation effect is also better, making it especially suitable for building exterior walls that are damp or require enhanced protection. In addition, thick layer plastering is more stable and durable and has a long service life. But of course, there are some disadvantages to thick layers of plastering. First of all, it uses more materials and the cost will be higher than thin layer plastering. The long construction time is also a challenge for thick layer plastering because the process is relatively cumbersome. So why do Hong Kong and Macau still tend to use thick layers of plaster? On the one hand, the local climate is humid, especially close to the seaside, and it often faces challenges from typhoons and heavy rains. Therefore, the walls need to have stronger protective properties, and thick layers of plastering can provide just such protection. On the other hand, a thick layer of plastering is also an added advantage on exterior walls that are well insulated and may need to carry decorative elements. Finally, I would like to emphasize that both thick and thin layers of plaster have their own advantages. Which process to choose will ultimately be decided based on the specific needs of the project, as well as the engineer's design requirements, so that the most appropriate construction method can be selected for each project. Thank you everyone for listening. Thanks.